My name's Donna. I was a child prostitute. Started out when I was 12. Went on till I was about 26. My first experience as a prostitute was an accidental thing. I was just wandering around waiting for light so I could hitchhike to PA to find my mom. And it was about 4 in the morning, this nice white guy picked me up. He took me home, and he fed me, and said I could sleep in the spare room. I went into the spare room, went to sleep, or was going to sleep, and he came and had sex with me. He told me to get dressed, and he took me back downtown and gave me $40.
When I'm fucking you tonight. There's another one.
I'd like to be a social worker. I wanted to go to school. I never graduated my grade 8. I wanted to do that. And I missed 2 years of school. My family, I don't really have that great of a family anymore, but I'm not close as I want to be to my family.
When I was 15, some people I ran into, they put me out on the street. First guy who picked me up, I had to give him a blowjob. And I remember crying the whole time. I would really become scared, and people would hug me, and I would be terrified because I didn't want him to find out how bad I was, you know, that I'd been a whore.
I just wish that I could just live over from when I was 13. There wouldn't even be any such thing as prostituting and drugs and alcohol, and I'd be straight and sober, and I'd be away from all these people and have a good job, go finish my school and work, have a nice job for my money, be in a nice home with my girl, have my girl, and raise my girl properly. I always tell myself I'm going to quit, but I never do. Then I just went back to the streets because I was using money, I thought. So when I think about everything I do or that I've done.
Do you have a condom? Yeah, I got them.
And if I get drunk, then I feel better about doing it. Just like, maybe I won't remember it the next day.
She wants to come and talk to Phyllis tomorrow.
When we're starting work, most people are already gone home and watching the boob tube. This is a poverty issue. These kids are hungry. All the kids, the majority, I should say, want something to eat, want an apple, want a cup of hot chocolate, want a sandwich, you know? They're hungry, you know? And it's just opening the door for us to get to know these kids, get to know who they are.
No, we got to come back and turn on the alarm anyway.
We are known by all the other outreach programs and some of the major NGOs and government as being the kiddie capital of Canada.
Don't spill the...
The highest percentage of child prostitutes per capita is here in Saskatoon than anywhere else in Canada.
We have to enforced a lot. I know I myself, well, if you see a 12, 13-year-old girl out there, I mean, you do everything you can to get her off the street. I mean, you don't want to see any girl out there at that age. Dads, man.
When they go down that street every night, who do they see? They see a male. Usually they see a white male. He's wanting a piece of ass. What I'm offering these kids is somebody that cares about them for who they are. Hello. Huh?
Can you have some hot chocolate? Yeah.
Yes, you made two?
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys need condoms?
Here, ladies. Oh, trying to scam two off me now, eh?
Here you
Okay.
guys.
You guys want a sandwich too?
Yeah. Yeah.
You look cold. We got some. You got mitts. Hey, you got mitts?
No.
You want some?
Yeah. They're granny mitts, but...
Hey, you want the bright orange ones?
No.
So you can flag the cops down? All right, ladies.
Yeah.
See ya. These were two young ladies that have been in it for probably 6 months. Their sisters are doing it. I think their mother has done it. It's been just generational.
She's high on something right now. So we'll just turn around and see if she goes up 19th Street to work in it. Come here. Where are you taking her?
Fuck, who's grabbing her?
Huh?
This is my
Where are you
little
taking her?
sister. I'm taking her home.
Yeah, you get her off the streets right now, or she'll be spending the night in her tank. You got it?
Fuck, whatever. Don't say it's
What's her What's her name?
Don't threaten her.
Huh?
Don't
I won't.
threaten
Take her in now.
you fucking
If I see her out again, she's coming with us.
We have no treatment facilities for kids. We've got places that will lock them up, you know, and we've got petitions. Oh, let's get tougher on the Young Offenders Act. Hey, let's get down dirty here. We got no place to treat these kids. We got no place to help them, to give them the help they need. They're not child prostitutes, but you know what? As soon as we put that word in there, prostitute, it's not so ugly anymore. Well, I'll tell you, I've been doing this program for coming on 5 years, and it is fucking ugly. They shouldn't be charging these guys, these girls. Who is the victims here? It's those kids on the street.
When I look at all the people out there, most of us are Indian, Aboriginal, First Nations. A lot of us are, you know, pretty lost.
I guess it was from growing up with an alcoholic family, not wanting to go home. So finding something else to do, and then just started drinking and going out on the streets myself because it's like survival. Money to eat, clothing, places, having money for a place to stay. You know, you need a way to live when you're that young. I mean, you don't want to go home. You find you can't go home.
I never really got to grow up as a kid because I was like taking care of my younger siblings when I was 9. Well, my dad and I were out drinking, and my mom couldn't tell me what to do. She couldn't control me. She tried, but it just pushed me away even more.
We need people to understand and people to see these are kids. They should be at home playing with their dolls. They should be at home studying for tomorrow's test, or they should be home being a kid. It's not their fault. It's not their fault they're out there.
I was abused. The first time was when I was 5. Babysitter came in, did what he had to do. After that, it was sort of like a thing, like, you know, uncles, you know, and I don't mean real uncles, but just guys who told me to call them uncle, you know, put me on their knee, fiddle around with me for a while, you know, give me a quarter, give me a dime, you know? So it started way before I stepped out and people had to look at me.
You know what it felt like to me? I can remember it felt like a few hours of my life went missing. Like, it didn't feel like nothing. It felt like emptiness. Like, where did these hours of my life go? These 4 hours of my life go? I just put my mind somewhere else, like thinking, no, after this is done, I can go eat, or I can go buy myself something. Like, I can go buy myself a pair of runners. Something that I put your mind somewhere else. I mean, because it don't mean nothing, you know. You're just happy to get it over and done with.
I would do what my grandmother used to do when I was a little girl and take a fingernail brush and scrub. And I would scrub and scrub and scrub, you know. And I would take the soap, a lot of soap, and I would wash my privates over and over and over. I couldn't kiss anybody because of the blowjobs I'd done. I went from booze to pills. That helped get over it. I still scrubbed. Not as much as I did in the beginning, though. I just took more dope. That helped.
Why are you out here?
To support my drug habit.
How expensive is your drug habit a day?
About 300 a day.
So you're standing out here pretty well all the time?
Every day, yeah. Well, I took a day off yesterday.
Good for you.
Good for you, is right.
Do you like what you're doing?
No, I hate it. Yeah, I can't believe I've been out here for 5 years. It seems like just yesterday I started working and using IV drugs. I can't believe I actually did what I did when I was 12 years old. I was just a kid then.
I hated myself. I hated everything about me, and I was disgusted.
We'll go for lunch. We'll talk about it. Please?
Yeah.
Don't stand him up. He'll cry and phone me and cry.
Okay, see you guys.
See you there. All the time I worry about her because it's so dangerous. Something's going to happen to her, and I'm so scared that one of these days we're going to get a call and they're going to find her laying there somewhere dead. I think there's been, 5 or 6 young ladies that have been lost to suicide.
I feel gross, used, and then dirty. I feel like a whore, and that's not what I want to be.
Okay, we got a lot more houses to see. Oh, I'm hungry. I don't think I can make it. Tim Hortons. I could really go for one of their fresh baked bagels right now. There's so many. Like that new muesli and fruit bagel. Wholesome grains and fruit with a hint of honey. Or maybe the new chocolate chunk bagel. That'd be delicious.
Hey, Tim Hortons, can we drop in?
Yeah, for a bagel. I'm starved. Okay, but we got a lot of houses to see.
Now, you can save on your shopping bill, just like this. Introducing the Safeway Club Card. It's free, easy, and it's automatic. And you'll save on over 1,000 items with your club card. Without coupons. So come into Safeway, sign up now, and start saving today. Whisker.
A relationship like this should stay happy and healthy. So if you're concerned about your cat's urinary tract health, make sure your cat's diet has just the right balance.
Whisker.
Introducing new Whiskas Perfect Balance. Unlike some dry cat food brands, Perfect Balance helps maintain the optimum balance of acid and mineral content in your adult cat's urine. And that can help avoid painful urinary tract stones.
Whisker.
Help keep your cat's urinary tract healthy with new Whiskas Perfect Balance.
Whiskers.
Dad's such a jolly good fellow. Why not give him a Dairy Queen frozen cake this Father's Day? They're deliciously handsome. And they're DQ through and through.
Where are they? I know this is where we said we'd meet them.
Oh, here they are. Mom, Dad,
This is Gordon.
Body heat activated degree now goes on clear.
Have you ever smelled the rain? Introducing Lever 2000 Pure Rain.
When I think of the girls out there now, my heart drops, you know, and my stomach wrenches, and I cry. I cried because nobody understands. Everybody drives by and sees them and thinks they're dirty. They're not dirty. They're not dirty. It's not them.
I always wonder, you know, like if they keep driving up and down, like some, you know, some of their friends or something's got to, you know, notice them driving around. What do they say they're going to do? They spend all these hours driving out there. You know, what do they say they've gone to do?
When these Johns go to pick these girls up and they have their sexual acts with them, they take away their innocence. They harden them.
These guys have kids, and they're out here asking for, you know, anal sex, wanting to be whipped or whatever, you know, really, really sick things, and you think in your head, that's the scary part of it, you know, like, this guy has kids, or this guy has a wife, or, and another scary thing is when they talk to you about it, too, when they tell you, you know, like, my wife's a bitch, or stuff like that, or my wife won't do this for me, things like that.
There's a lot of guys that drive around that have baby seats. Never mind, a guy picked me up once, and he tried picking me up, and he had 2 kids in the car. 2 little kids. He's like, oh, don't mind our kids. I was like, whatever. I go, like, why don't you go home? Look at you have kids. We shouldn't be doing this.
I think these Johns, these guys that pick up these little girls are pedophiles. They're sick. They got to be sick. Like, these are children. If it was their, you know, if it was your next door neighbor's child, people would be, you know, wanting them out of the community, wanting them the hell away from them.
When we're doing undercover operations, special projects, these children, they're walking up to us. We are complete strangers, and they will walk up and get in a complete stranger's car on their own. They have no idea what they're getting into.
I was raped and left 45 miles out of the city. He held a knife to my throat.
He locked his doors, and that's when I started freaking out, and I was screaming. He started hitting me.
I'm just, you know, I'm lucky that I'm alive today.
I've been raped. I've been raped a lot. I've been beaten.
There's so much racism, like, why are they? I think it's just because they think we're low, and because we mean nothing to them.
I always thought we were invisible to the world. People didn't look at us. And when they did, they went tisk, tisk. You know, oh, look at that whore. You squaw, you disgusting squaw.
But she's not a very good bodyguard. So if anyone tries to fucking fuck with me, man, she'll fucking beat them up with shit.
They can build special wiretaps to catch a criminal If they can't build something to catch these guys that are picking up these little girls, or they can't figure out a way, come on. I have a hard time believing that.
We can bring, do John's things, arrest John's, and we do present to the court. We can still be doing our paperwork, and a person may be back out in the street.
You're freezing, dear.
Here, I need to grab hot chocolate.
All of this began way before anybody started working, you know, residential school, you know, the abuse that was suffered there. It started way before I came along, you know. It started way before my mother came along, you know. We all became lost.
I always prayed that Donna would stop. Like I didn't like seeing her out there. I seen her standing out there, and it used to hurt me.
I'm here.
Like, you know, I blamed myself at first.
Hi.
I always wondered if it was genetic, you know. My mother was on the street. My mother pulled tricks, and I knew my mother pulled tricks early on because I saw the men come in.
13, I started working. There was nobody there for me because of the way I was when I was a little kid. Like, you know, the way I was treated, exactly the way I was treating my children. I wish I had what they're being offered to me.
My daughter was taken away when she was a baby. The social worker who told me my mother was a whore told me that I would be the same as my mother.
And the other couple, she came and seen me. Yeah.
Then I found out in '96 that my baby was on the street, and she'd been on the street since she was about 12, 13. Who knows when and if she was sexually abused. That brings most of the girls out that are out there, you know, when nobody hears them about the abuse before they start charging for it.
Hey, sweetie. Good, how are you?
How are ya?
You don't want him to bite you. Kan jag bara med någon?
When you're using those condoms, especially the flavored ones, they are not safe to double them up. And do not use them for intercourse. If you're going to use them for blows, use them for blows, but not for intercourse, because they will break. Out on the street, they've got this facade, you know, they got to put their cool, because if they don't put that they're cool out there, they're going to get killed. If they don't put that they're, you know, put on the tough role, they're going to get eaten up and spit out, you know. But we get to see them as kids, you know, farsing around, joking around, and you get to see the kid for who the kid really is. They give you a hug, you know, and it's not nothing pretend, it's a real hug.
I had a woman one time, 1987 in October. She walked up to me, and her and her husband and her child were walking by me, and I usually walked away so they didn't have to look at me. And then I usually went back to where I was standing, and that's what I did. I walked away, and then I went back, and I saw them at the corner, from the corner of my eye, and they were talking. And the woman come back, and she looked at me and she said, "Can I give you a hug?" She didn't say anything negative. She didn't judge me. She didn't tell me what I should do. She just said, "Can I give you a hug?" You know, and I said, "Well, sure, that's what you want to do." And for me, when she hugged me, she broke all the barriers. What she did was connected me to that world outside. Other people started acknowledging that I was there. A woman drove by and stopped in the middle of traffic, her beeping horns and everything, and she rolls down her window and says to me, "Jesus loves you." I said, "Cool." You know, she's crazy, but that's cool.
These kids, they do exit the street, and they do, you know, they do leave the street, and they do go back to school, and
my daughter's on the street now. And I know it's not because of me. And when she's ready, I know she knows, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that she knows where to come, you know. I know she'll be back.
See you in the morning.
I believed that there was hope. I believed that I wasn't alone, and know for a fact, whoever you are, wherever you're standing, that you're not alone, and you're not a whore. You're just a little displaced, you know? And that sooner or later it's gonna end. It will end. I know it'll end.
This documentary was produced by Murray Oliver, John Brazil, Aldo Columpsy, and Norm Sawchyn of CBC Saskatchewan. And a programming note, Children of the Street was to be shown on the National tomorrow night. Instead, the documentary is scheduled to air on the National's The Magazine on Wednesday evening. If you have any comments on this story or any stories on tonight's program, you can call our Speaking Out line at 1-800-563-CBC1. That's 1-800-563-2221. You can write to us by email. Our address is newshour@regina.cbc.ca. And we're back in just a moment.
Meet me where it always feels like summertime. The swing on Wilson's Pond or Nicky's 5 and dime. It's all about reunions and there's one around the bend. Meet me at the Dairy Queen where the feeling never ends. Meet me at DQ.
What's new with Canada's Backyard Reunion? Now's the perfect time to come in and get a creamy, smooth blizzard treat.
Come on to that feeling and meet me at DQ.
When you're smiling, when you're smiling.
People who like Freedent because it won't stick to most dental work love Freedent because it's soft to chew and deliciously long-lasting too. That's why they stick with the gum that won't.
The whole world smiles with you.
Non-stick Freedent, the perfect gum for almost perfect teeth.
Hello, I'm Wayne Rosted. As you know, I've been looking for sand shoppers to be in a commercial with me. People who like to recommend sand to their friends. Well, the response has been terrific. And the good news is there's still time for you to be part of it. Simply drop by your local sand store for details.